Welcome all to the March 13th meeting of the Common Council. We will begin the public participation portion of the Common Council meeting. The time is now 7 p.m. Please remember to state your name and address clearly for the record and limit your speaking time to 3 minutes. I'll call from the list first and then open it up to anyone that has not signed up. Everyone who wants to be heard will be heard. And we'll also check if anyone's calling in remotely. So let's begin. Our first speaker is Frank Chase.
Frank Chase, 24 Roxbury Road, New Britain. The semi-final plan estimate provided by Cardinal Engineering 11 years ago to complete the Allen Street project was $6.9 million. The mayor used this preliminary number, $6.9 million, for 11 plus years to support her request for funding. Now the mayor refuses to allocate funds for the Allen Street project because the final total cost is unknown. These inconsistencies are troubling. State officials report that they have delivered a huge surplus of funds to New Britain, which were used for other city projects, even though the mayor says the Allen Street project, Oak Street to Beacon Street, is the most pressing need. The reality is 25 plus properties in our critical neighborhood are being compromised by the contaminated storm sewer water infiltration and soil saturation, creating hydrostatic pressure, threatening our foundations and structures. Factor in the resulting soil erosion, settling, and shifting. Our underground infrastructure, storm sewer systems, including CNG equipment, roadways, and sidewalks are all in harm's way. The state allocates funds to municipalities to do the projects that the mayor and the council prioritize. There are no specific project earmarks from the state. Over the past 11 plus years, the required Allen Street storm sewer upgrades have not been prioritized and have not been funded by the mayor and the council. Therefore, our critical neighborhood continues to flood. Funding ingenuity is required for the Allen Street project, as our city officials have successfully completed for other higher profile projects. For example, the new $20 million Public Works Operations Center was paid for with bonding money. The new $2.7 million Stanley Golf Course Reception Pavilion has a bonding component completed by our city officials. This is not about the cost, this is not about the complexities, this is not about the magnitude of the Allen Street project. It's about having the courage to step up and fund this project and complete it. The city has funding and funding sources to complete the Allen Street project, but the mayor is unwilling to allocate the money. Reevaluating ARPA fund allocations combined with bonding money are viable options for our city officials to include in their funding plan. These are fiscally responsible funding options for the Allen Street project. Now is the time for this crucial planning. As we have detailed for you, the evidence and the facts are revealing. Our skepticism is justified based on Mayor Stewart's failed funding efforts thus far. The reality is simple. The mayor has failed to obtain new funding and has prioritized available funds for other higher profile projects. Elected and appointed city officials, where's the money for our most pressing need? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chase. Our next speaker is Jim Sanders.
Good evening, Jim Sanders, Jr., 172 Kensington Avenue. It's with complete solace that I have to come here tonight. Unfortunately, I'm asking the Common Council to investigate Mayor Aaron Stewart, Sergio Lupo, Justin Dorsey, Jack Benjamin, and Jeff Cormier, according to the City Charter, Section K, which allows for this body to form a special investigative committee with subpoena power. And to be clear, we're not asking you to look into or intervene in any way the decisions that were made on February 22nd of this year regarding our ZBA application. We're asking this body to form the appropriate committee and investigate the actions taken by the above-mentioned persons from February 22nd, 2023 through February 22nd, 2024 that has led us to where we are today. First and foremost, there's a lot of information I can't get out tonight. I'll do my best, but you have a 69-page packet in front of you tonight. I encourage you to read through it thoroughly. There is no property like ours that exists within our zone district, the city of New Britain, or surrounding towns, which creates the extremely unique hardship that we were fighting for. The first ZBA meeting we had, the city plan report was full of misinformation and failed to acknowledge that. The second meeting we had, there was more misinformation and an unprecedented letter from the mayor with further misinformation about the storage needs and capacities within the city of New Britain. After our meeting, we were informed that at least 2 ZBA members were told that our application was personal by Jack Benjamin himself. We were further told by a building commissioner that he was misled that our building would need to be outfitted with sprinklers. That was false. That was also iterated by Jack Cormier at the ZBA meeting, further infecting the ZBA's decision to make an accurate and informative decision on our petition. With that being said, we believe that the city of New Britain has acted arbitrarily and capriciously throughout this entire process. They have manipulated the city ordinances based on feelings and not facts. It is an obvious abuse of power that the mayor herself has injected herself into the entire process, manipulating and intimidating department heads in order to subvert the permitting and zoning process. The mayor, in conjunction with the department heads and employees, maliciously and vindictively changed ordinances and even proposed a moratorium to block the development at 600 East Street. That project would have brought a $4 million renovation, a 700% tax increase, just with that property alone. That should have already been completed. There was a TOD compliant aspect to that project located at 86 Woodland Street. That investment and tax revenue is unknown because of the arbitrary and capricious actions of this administration. No one reached out to me, no one reached out to our developer, or was even willing to sit down. And for all those reasons stated above, and the information that I've provided with you within the 69-page packet, I believe there is grounds for this body to investigate this matter. This investigation is important to the future development and economic growth within our city, and we must make it known that arbitrary and capricious decisions are unacceptable in leadership positions, and that if you try and do so, it'll be met with strong opposition. I know how hard it is to stand up and do the right thing. I've done it. There's consequences to doing that. I hope that you have the courage that I had when I sat in your seats to do the same. And for the record, the state of this city is sad.
Thank you, Mr. Sanders. Our next speaker is Alicia Strong.
Alicia Strong, 2017 Corbin Ave. Apologies if I am a little spacey. I've been fasting today, but I knew this was really important. I'm here today to demand that the police officer who is responsible for murdering Catherine Colon is fired, is decertified, and is arrested. And I understand that a lot of people on this council will probably say that Common Council doesn't have this power, but I know who does have this power. Mayor Aaron Stewart. And I know that if every single person on this council stood up and said what that officer did was wrong and he should not work in the city of New Britain, if every single person here did that, that would put the pressure on her that was needed to do the right thing. It's not fair for this family to have to suffer and then receive a report blaming somebody for being hit when the officer was clearly going over the speed limit to a non-emergency call. We're not going to accept the report. We're not going to accept this officer to continue to serve on our streets. It's not safe for them. With that, I yield my time.
Thank you, Ms. Strong. Our next speaker is Patrick Thompson.
Hello, Council. My name is Patrick Thompson of 44 Birdie Farms Road, New Britain. And I would like to talk about the egregious report that came back for the manslaughter of Catherine Colon. The idea that we can have a system built where an officer can objectively commit manslaughter, and not pay attention to the road, go double the speed limit, do a non-emergency call, lead to a death to an innocent civilian, and have a report come back, victim blaming an innocent woman, saying she's wearing dark clothes, not having the proper attire for just existing, walking home. I didn't know there was a dress code, walking in the middle of the street. It's unacceptable. You know, we can't have law enforcement enforce the law, you know, respect and uplift the community when they're above the law. They objectively have, this is a precedent where an officer can get away with manslaughter and have no consequences and get away with it, which has been the standard for most of American history, and it needs to stop. New Britain needs a civilian review board, which the last Common Council rejected and voted down. We need it immediately to put accountability to our law enforcers and show them that the people and the citizens have the ultimate say on your actions. And if we do not feel safe, you in our community, you are not going to be enforcing the law in our community, and you are going to be exited. And you are going to be charged the fullest extent of the law. We will not have the good old boys club having the state police do their own investigations outside the law. We will have you prosecuted to the fullest extent by lawyers, just like the rest of us, because we are all citizens. So, with that, I yield my time.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Alanis Ashby, the floor is yours.
Hello, my name is Alanis Ashby. I live at 100 Clinic Drive. I just wanted to say, in regards to the murder of Catherine Colon, I don't think that anybody should have to say, imagine if it was your sister or mother, for you, the city council, to understand that what happened to Catherine Colon is wrong. Do you have to imagine being in Palestine and experiencing the sheer terror that people face there to understand what is happening to them is wrong? I don't think so. What has continued to happen in the aftermath of her death is wrong. Why is a murderer still allowed to protect, quote unquote, and serve the community after killing a community member? What exactly is that officer protecting when he recklessly drove and killed Catherine Colon? How are you all allowing a police officer who admitted to speeding with no lights and was not paying attention to the road to not face any charges? When will you hold that murderer accountable? I don't think this family wants to hear you expressing your condolences or saying we're so sorry that happened. Start taking action and holding the officer responsible for this crime accountable. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ashby. Our next speaker is Maribel Rodriguez.
My name is Maribel Rodriguez, and I'm a resident of Waterbury. I'm no longer a resident of New Britain because of the lack of housing. I'm also the daughter of Catherine Colon, and I'm here to express my disgust in the way that the city of New Britain has handled the death of my mother. Some of this council, I know it's a new council, told me months ago that I had to wait for answers. And those answers came back and show that this officer contributed to the death of my mother, speeding 25 miles over the speed limit up West Main Street without his lights or sirens on, and not paying attention to the road. This is motor vehicle homicide. And my question to you, City Council, if with this information, do you deem it appropriate for a police officer to drive recklessly, kill your loved one, and face no consequences and still be employed by the city of New Britain that you guys call that you are representing? This can happen to any one of us. And as city leaders, you all should be calling for accountability. Our family should not have to come here and show our pain for you guys to understand that this is wrong. This is not accountability. He is still employed by the MBPD and getting paid salary that could be used towards other city needs, as we know. We don't accept that killer cops on the New Britain police force. We need investments in our community, and we demand that you all call for Connor Wrench to be fired by the NBPD and to address the issues of speeding up West Main Street. City officers should be held accountable for their inability to follow these laws as well. Fire Connor Wrench and all officers who contribute to the death and to contribute to death in the city of New Britain, because this is disgusting. We're not the only family who has had to lose someone in the hands of police of New Britain. And that's all I have for you guys.
Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez. The next speaker is Tamara Lopez.
Good evening, members of the council. My name is Tamara Lopez. I am a resident of New Britain CT. My address is 26 Wainwright Drive. I am also the proud niece of Catherine Colon. I am here today to convey my deep concern over the actions of Officer Connor Wrench of September 21st, 2023. His actions on that day deeply affected my family and I. Officer Wrench was excessively speeding up West Main Street, responding to a non-emergency call without his lights or sirens on when he struck and killed my aunt. Catherine was a face well known to New Britain. Everyone knew of Catherine. She was a proud citizen of New Britain, and for what? To be struck and killed on the same street she walked on every single day. Where is the justice? This is a motor vehicle homicide, which means that the driver was negligent behind the wheel, resulting in the death of another person, a person, my person. I miss my aunt so, her presence, her life, and she was taken from me, and you're dismissing her death. My question to you as a council member is, what if Catherine was your loved one? Would you deem it appropriate for a police officer to drive recklessly, kill your loved one, and face absolutely no consequences? Would you be able to move on and comfort your family? Would you be able to sleep at night knowing that your loved one's body is decomposing underground while the person who killed her serves no consequences whatsoever and still gets paid with our tax dollars? Your officers should obey the laws they enforce, not hide behind them. New Britain police officers are not above the law. No badge or policy should revoke my aunt's right to justice. And it's funny, Aaron, in one of your campaign videos, you said, and I quote, "Together we work to get our city back. Real leadership and results are what people should expect, and I remain committed to delivering both for our residents. My approach values, cares for everyone, and it builds a better tomorrow." That is what you said before you asked for New Britain citizens to vote for you on November 7th, 48 days after my aunt was killed. In that time, we heard no answers, no updates, and not even an apology from our beloved mayor. Where is the care for this New Britain citizen or this grieving community here today in front of you? You have the leaders here. Where are the proper results? I demand that you call on the NBPD to fire Officer Connor Wrench and to address this issue of speeding on West Main Street. City officers should be held accountable for their inability to follow these laws as well. You know what to do. Fire Connor Wrench.
Thank you, Ms. Lopez. Next speaker is Maya Saldana. Do I have that right?
Yes.
Up, Maya. Name and address, Maya. The floor is yours.
My name is Maya Sadanya, and I live at 144 Dean Drive. I'm a resident of New Britain CT, and student at Innovation Academy. I am also the niece of Catherine Cologne. I am here to my deep concern over the action of New Britain police officer Connor Wrench on September 21st, 2023. On that day, Officer Wrench was speeding up West Main Street, responding to a non-emergency call without his lights on or his sirens on when he struck and killed Catherine Cologne. This is a motor vehicle homicide. My question to you as a council member is, what if Catherine was your mother, sister, daughter, aunt, or cousin? Would you deem it appropriate for a police officer to drive recklessly, kill your loved one, and face no consequences? I demand that you call on NBPD to fire Officer Connor Wrench and address the issues of speeding on West Main Street. City officers should be held accountable for their inability to follow these laws as well. Fire Connor Wrench.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Dania Sawyer. Do I have that name right?
Denial.
Dania. Floor is yours, Dania. Name and address.
Okay. My name is Denia Sawyer, and I'm a New Britain resident. I live at 32 Skipper Street. I'm the daughter of Catherine Cologne, who was tragically struck and killed on September 21st, 2023. I sit here with some familiar faces. You all sat and said that you were sorry for my loss and how you understand how we felt, but you don't. Me and my family left questioning what tangible actions have been taken to address the injustice of her death. Absolutely nothing. He is living, breathing, and working, but what are his consequences? Saying that it was her fault is disgusting and sick. My mother was not at fault. She was the victim. This dismissive attitude highlights a concerning pattern of victim blaming and protecting the police that cannot be ignored. If you cannot see that, you're just blind. We'll never stop fighting until you, our elected officials, do something about this. The investigation is done, so my question for you is, what will you do? As for our respected mayor, your silence spoke volumes to me and my family. You didn't even care to speak publicly because you backed the police department, and we all know that. We demand justice for Catherine and the firing and arrest of Connor Wrench. Thank you.
Thank you, Denai. Our next speaker is Desiree Ward. I'm sorry if I... I'm sorry. Go ahead. Name and address. The floor is yours.
Hi, my name is Desiree Chamberlain. My address is 91 Silver Street. I'm a resident of New Britain. I am calling to convey my deep concern over the actions of New Britain police officer Connor Wrench on September 21st, 2023. On that day, Officer Wrench was excessively speeding on West Main Street, responding to a non-emergency call without his lights or sirens on when he struck and killed Catherine Cologne. It is so many words that come to my mind when it comes to this case. Catherine Cologne's life mattered. Do you find it appropriate for Connor Wrench to be walking around after committing a murder and leaving her there? And none of y'all knew her. None of y'all knew her. So that's why it's not a big of a concern to you, but it is to my friend and her family. Connor Wrench is walking around. He's waking up in the morning, seeing his kids, being able to do whatever he wants, and her family member, my friend's aunt, she's in a grave. Like, her daughters, everybody. If it was you, like, y'all don't understand how much I see my friend. Like, she's grieving every day, bro. In school, it's affecting both of them. They both go to school. All of them go to, like, I can't even get my words together. Like, it's just, y'all have to do better as a community. Seriously. Let me finish what I wrote down. Noise isn't being made for this woman, but that's why we're all here today. And what word would you think walking around committing murder was okay? Like, in what word would that be okay? Why is... Y'all know what a crime looks like, so act like it. And I'm done.
Thank you, Desiree. Next speaker on the list I have is Jasmine Melendez. Sorry if I didn't say your name right.
I'm Jasmine Melendez. I'm a resident of Bridgeport, 55 North Bishop Avenue. I come before this council to say that a sorry is not needed from you. Condolences are also not needed from you. A direct call to fire and hold the officer who took Catherine's life responsible is what's needed from you. In 2017, when my 15-year-old brother Jason Negron was murdered in Bridgeport, the Bridgeport City Council remained complicit in police terror. And city council members from other municipals joined my family in the streets. And I would hear things like, they're not even from here, as if your heart should not care for injustice everywhere. And at any moment, you should be moved to your core when you see things like this. When we see our community grieving over and over and over again in the state of Connecticut, where police are never held accountable, we must take action. Fast forward to today, and I am a Bridgeport City Council member, and I'm coming before the New Britain City Council in solidarity with Catherine's family to say that you need to do more with your position. Each of you as individuals can call for this officer to be fired. Each of you as individuals can work closely with Catherine's family to ensure that their definition of what justice looks like is reached. And until you take that level of commitment to your community and not to the institution of policing, which taxpayer dollars fund, then each and every one of you are complicit in police terror. And I want to say justice for Catherine, justice for Zoe Dowdell, and justice for all of those who continue to be harmed by New Britain police officers. I yield my time.
Thank you, Councilwoman Melendez. All the names I have on the list. Is anybody calling remotely? None. All right. Does anybody else wish to speak? Anybody else? Anybody else? Hearing no other speakers, this portion of the meeting, public participation is concluded. It's now 7:25. Now I'm going to ask if there are any members of the council who wish to respond to what they've heard. Anybody?
Wow, nobody got nothing to say?
Go ahead, Nathan.
So as always, I just want to thank speakers for coming out tonight. I know y'all have lives that you're taking away from being here. I just want to express my solidarity with the family and friends of Catherine Colon. I know you guys have contributed greatly to this community, but whether those contributions are made or not, you are members of this community and deserve every ounce of respect that anybody else in this community deserves. For Mr. Frank Chase, I really appreciate you keeping on our case about the flooding issues. To Mr. Sanders, this is a very thick packet. I'm going to have to read this in another time, but expect a follow-up. I'm your city councilor. As for the rest of the folks speaking on the death of Catherine Colon, it's true. 4 years ago, this very body, and not all of us were on it, but this very body was considering passing an ordinance, a resolution to adopt what's called the Civilian Review Board. And I can't promise every city councilor is going to do the right thing here. But I have that language with me tonight, and I will be going through this, and I will be bringing this back up for discussion because I have a letter from the chief of police here, and while I do appreciate many of the clarifications, one of them stood out to me. I'm going to read that line here. It says, State's Attorney Platt reached this conclusion after identifying that the vehicle's speed was not the sole cause of this incident. Now, the key word there is sole.
He contributed.
Sole cause of the
Please,
incident.
let the alderman respond. Thank you.
Now, I refuse to exist in a body that allows government officials to go unaccountable for their actions. That is not why I ran. That is not why many of us ran. But I'm sure, as many of you are aware, American politics does its thing, and people running for office don't always hold up their intentions. Now, this being not the sole cause of the accident, my one question for this room is, if this isn't the sole cause of the accident, why are we excusing any cause of this accident from being held accountable? Because let's say the state's report is accurate in that Catherine Colon played a role in this incident. She has more than paid the price. Her family is here today to demonstrate that. She's dead. That is the ultimate accountability. Meanwhile, on the other side of it, the government is not being held accountable, and by not adopting something like a civilian review board, we are complicit as a body. And as individuals, this opinion may differ, but I did not run to watch this council let things slide. I ran because I wanted this body to be accountable to the needs of our residents, and that includes public safety. Thank you.
Any other member wish to respond? Anybody? President Santiago?
I usually wait to the last. So if you were waiting, I was literally waiting for everybody. That's always do, wait to the last minute and speak my piece. My wife actually went to school with Catherine. When it happened, she felt, and also her sister, she knows, we know the family pretty well. There's no take-backs, right? There's no waking up the next day to see her, no embracing. The loss, regardless, is a loss. Not just hers, I'm talking in general, the loss. I was there when the civilian board that we had presented that time. There was a lot of bull crap going on. There were some things that they didn't want. We wanted the review to have subpoena power, which was one of the questions that was part of the community that came wanted. We put in what she has in his hand, what the community had asked for. We put it in, it was turned down. We didn't have the numbers. We have the numbers now. We will put it back, and I spoke to him, we did speak about it, we will be putting this up, we will take a look at it, definitely put something in play this year. That's definitely 100%. If it would pass, it's because the colleagues does not want to participate. That, I'll give you that. On the case of Catherine Colon, I'm asking the chief here now, that he's here, that during the time of, you had the opportunity to take a look at the report, we got a chance to take a look at a report, please do something that this family will feel like that they came here for the honor of Catherine Colon. We'll appreciate if you do something to respect their wishes and to respect that this community is whole. Because this is not even just, it's an officer, but we're talking about individuals in general that are speeding, reckless driving, individuals are getting hit, dying. This past month, I think so far has been 4 deaths so far, with a vehicle. So there's no excuses of who it is. If they're getting prosecuted for their actions, then this officer should have some repercussions for his actions. I understand there's policies and procedures, and I respect policy and procedures as much as anybody else. But this right here seems like he didn't uphold his part of the deal. So he needs to do something. We need to do something as a whole to show the individuals that you do wrong, you got to pay the cost, just like we have to. When we have to, we get in trouble. So at this time, I appreciate the chief. If you could do something about it, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Santiago. Any other members? Any other members? Any other? Alderwoman Barboza.
I don't think I would have the strength to be able to continue to fight. I can't put myself in your position. My heart hurts for you guys. I'm just going to tell you guys to continue to fight. Don't take no for an answer. Continue to fight until you get the justice that you deserve, that your mother deserves, that your titi deserves. Do not give up on her. Continue to remain strong and continue your journey and continue your fight. And not just for your mother, because like you said, it can happen to anyone again. We can walk out of this building and someone can get struck. There's been too many incidences with people getting hit by cars. Recklessly, reckless drivers, not paying attention, speeding, and nothing is being done about it. We all need to step up and we all need to do something about this. We've spoken about speed bumps. That's not going to stop the problem, but it's going to help along the way. Continue to fight for your mom.
Thank you, Alderwoman Barboza. Alderwoman Scott.
Well, I want to thank Frank first for coming and continuing to come and talk about the flooding issues that need to be resolved here in the city. And Sanders, something spoke up. I don't really know a lot about your situation, so I want to look at it as well. But I did take down this when you were speaking, that you said something about it's hard to stand up for what is right. And I think that is very much true, and I just wanted to point out, I appreciate you saying that it is very hard to stand up for what is right. And this situation is something that needs to be stood up for as well. What happened to Catherine is very saddening to me. The victim blaming that's going on here is absolutely absurd. Blaming the victim for wearing something or being in the wrong place or any of that kind of victim blaming should not be tolerated. And I was here with you guys 2 years ago when I was here on the other side asking for the Civilian Review Board. And now I'm here, and I just want to let everybody know that I stand with you still, that we do need a Civilian Review Board put in place. Alanis, I appreciated something that you said too. You said saying that you're sorry, people saying that they're sorry, and I do very much believe that I don't want to say that I'm sorry for what has happened and I don't want to say I understand and maybe this is a lesson for everybody here. don't ever tell people that you understand what they're going through, because you can't possibly understand what someone is going through until you've actually experienced it yourself. So saying, I'm not going to say that I am sorry, I am frustrated, I am angry, I am disgusted that this is happening, and I am deeply saddened, and I empathize with you, and I stand with you. So thank you so much for coming, guys, and keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you, Alderman Scott. Alderwoman McAdam.
Good evening, and thank you for coming. I'm just going to keep it really short. It's already been said a lot of what I wanted to say, but A, we were voted in to be the voice of the people, and that's what we need to do at the end of the day, period. Secondly, victim blaming has got to stop across the board. They've been focusing on that she was under the influence, but she wasn't driving. She did the responsible thing and she walked. So we need to be the voice of the people like we were called into office to do.
Seeing no other persons wishing to speak, I'd just like to respond myself, saying that there will be a review of policies, procedures, and rules of conduct, police department, arising out of this tragedy. The council has a role to play in ensuring any changes in ordinances or a consideration of review board will and can be considered. I want to thank everybody for stepping up tonight to speak out about the issue. The regular meeting will begin shortly.
Take note of the people who didn't speak. We asked for votes.
Thank you.
So all the ignorance. All right, we're all here. So, I would like to call to order this regular meeting of the New Britain Common Council. The date is March 13th, 2024. The time is 7:51 p.m. Mr. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Alderpersons McNamara. Here. Smedley.
Present.
Sanchez.
Here.
Beloin Saavedra.
Here.
Simpson.
Present.
Russell.
Here.
Barbosa. Hargraves.
Here.
McAdam.
Here.
Gibson. Scott.
Here.
Connors.
Here.
Malinowski. Pabon. Santiago.
Here.
14 present, Your Honor.
Thank you. Can we all please rise for the invocation? It will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. O God, our Heavenly Father, look down on our residents as they responsibly celebrate St. Patrick's Day and St. Joseph's Day. Give our local leaders the political will to identify and address the challenges of the next fiscal year and work cooperatively to make New Britain a better place to live, work, go to school, or raise a family. We ask this in thy name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we take a seat this evening, if you could please remain standing. Please remain standing because we need to have a moment of silence this evening, and I'd like to call on Alderman Francisco Santiago for that.
As we all know, we had lost, we could say Catherine Jones if you want. I mean Catherine Cologne, but at this moment in time, we're talking about Sarah Jones. She passed away in December last week, and she was a member of the New Britain High School. She was a high school teacher, and today was actually her wake, and we'd like a moment of silence for her, just to give her the respect that she also needs too. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Jones was an incredible educator in this community. She impacted many lives of our youth. Her husband, who we all know, James, the director of the Boys and Girls Club, they're a family that means a lot to this community, and we just want to send our condolences out to them as they're dealing with this very difficult loss. So, as is customary,
Aaron, you're a coward. Fire Connor Wrench. 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 Aaron, you're a coward.
can you just make a motion to recess?
Second.
We're in recess. Mr. Clerk, we're in recess.
Aaron, you're a coward. Fire Connor Wrench. 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 Aaron, you're a coward. Fire Connor Wrench.
I'd like to make a motion to return to our normal meeting.
I have a second by Alderman Santiago, and we're returned. The time is 8:09 p.m. So, as is customary with each year, the beginning of the year, we have the Mayor's State of the City address that I am to provide. So, if you'll indulge me for the next 15 minutes or so, I have a lot that I'd like to update everybody on. So to everybody joined with us, our distinguished members of the Common Council, our department leaders, our city employees who are still here, it's my honor to stand before you this evening and deliver our annual State of the City address. And I am very proud to report that after 10 years, we've entered a new era for our city. We're growing, we're confident, and we're anxiously awaiting the boundless opportunities that await us. The pride and promise of New Britain is back, and that's something that we should all smile about. The state of our city is strong, and the possibilities for our hive are endless. Now, thanks. Now, I always say you can't know where you're going unless you know where you've been. So if you'll indulge me, I want to take a quick look back when I was first elected, because it was a very different place than the New Britain that we see right now. You've heard me tell the story plenty of times. We were dangling perilously from a fiscal cliff. Community pride was almost non-existent. Our downtown was an economic dead zone. It lacked even a single place to buy a cup of coffee. Vagrant activity and public drug use were stifling investment and development, and mismanagement from failed leadership was obvious. We were on the verge of a state takeover, and we were the punchline of everybody's jokes across Connecticut. But then something happened. We stood up collectively, we fought back. Collectively as a community. We came together, we demanded better. We refused to take the crumbs that others once thought they could give us, these development projects that only consisted of dollar stores, laundromats, or package stores. We invested in ourselves to make our community more attractive and more marketable. We embraced real development opportunities. We did the good hard work, we put in the long hours to change our reputation, and it's worked. Together, we raised the standard for ourselves and we demanded others do the same, and we're reaping the rewards. So because of our collective buy-in on that, this community has changed for the better. It took 10 long, hard years to get here, but we've entered into this new era for our great city, and all you have to do is look around to see it. Together, we're setting a new standard on how government should work. We're consistently leading through bipartisan collaboration, focused most of all on the common good, not on politics. We're the example for the state of Connecticut, and the proof is in the pudding. While other communities across our state struggle to get anything meaningful accomplished, and they're locked in endless partisan bickering, here in New Britain, we continue to grow and we continue to make progress. And while our city is finally back on track, I think it's important to note that this government is acutely aware of the persistent struggles many members of our community continue to face in our new normal post-pandemic lives. The past few years, residents have been plagued by the high cost of living, and I'm certainly not naive to that myself. Like you, I've felt the pinch of grocery store prices, the rising cost of gas and essentials, the expenses associated with a growing family. We're seeing increases in the prices of almost everything. The only thing that the price might have stayed the same on, no, it did stay the same, was the hot dog at Costco, who, by the way, is paying their full tax assessment this year, which is great. But across the board, we're all paying more, and government is not immune to that. Unfortunately, stacked on top of the challenges burdened on us from Hartford, like budget cuts, an inadequate pilot formula, a nearly $6 million loss in the motor vehicle tax reimbursement coming this year, the cost of doing business is increasing. It's something our finance director, Jonathan Perugini, and I are trying to figure out. It's a reality that we need to be prepared for if we want to continue the success that we've seen over the last 10 years. But despite these facts and new realities, I want you to know that I remain committed to running a government that prioritizes our needs versus our wants. A government committed to fiscal discipline, one that works its hardest to keep our costs low. And as your mayor, my first priority is always to be on you, the taxpayer. But in true New Britain fashion, we'll roll up our sleeves, we'll do the good hard work, we'll find creative solutions that allow us to capitalize on this new normal economic state. We'll do what we do best in New Britain, what makes us New Britain. We'll count on ourselves, and we'll figure it out together.
I truly believe that one can be an innovative thinker that implements progressive policy through a conservative approach and direction. This exact mentality has allowed us to see continued success the last decade, and it will be amid these challenging fiscal times too. This approach will ensure that our residents get the high quality of life they deserve, with a government that thinks before it acts. One that has the emotional intelligence to process the results of an action before governing on reaction to whatever may be the hot button issue at the moment. The quality of life for our residents is my first and last thoughts each day, and I remain committed to doing all in my power to improve it across the board. On that note, let's just take a brief look at the progress of the past year. It was only a couple short years ago that I stood up here to deliver this address, and I chose to publicly shed light on what so many of us had known for years, that while everything around us was succeeding, our school system was failing. But I'm proud to say that that's no longer the case. Through increased communication, a renewed relationship between the school district and the city, and under new direction from Dr. Tony Gasper, the Consolidated School District of New Britain is making noticeable improvements and strides forward. Under Dr. Gasper's back-to-basics approach to academic success, his staff is closing the gap between the percent of students 2 years below grade level in reading and getting students on target. And while there's still progress to be made, they're certainly moving the needle in the right direction. In schools across the district, students have been moved out of what is considered the emergency level of illiteracy and are now on their way to learning to read at grade level. Some examples of that. Chamberlain moved 50% of second grade students and 36% of third grade students out of the yellow zone into the green zone, meaning they're now reading at grade level. 50% of second graders at De Loretto, 71% of second graders at Holmes, and 40% of second graders students at Gaffney were moved from not being proficient readers to now reading at grade level. These are things that are making an immense impact on the success of our school district, and they're making future parents of kids in the school district, like myself, feel a lot better about where their kids are going to go. Additionally, attendance is up district-wide. We're down in chronically absent students by 3.3% across the board, including a decrease of almost 10% in chronically absent first graders. That also includes a decrease of almost 8% in chronically absent seventh graders. I give all these little tidbits because Dr. Gasper likes to call these his islands of excellence, where he picks out these small one-off data points that are proof that the larger mission that he is trying to accomplish is moving forward through these small islands of excellence. But they're important for us to hear this. It's important because regardless of the instructional improvements that our teachers are making, the improvements in getting our chronically absent students, those numbers down, is exactly what we need, because you can't make improvements in your test scores if your kids aren't at school. Getting them there is the first thing. But on the city side, we're continuing to invest in our children as well. We remain committed to making sure teachers and students have safe, modern school facilities that are equipped to meet the demands on our education system. This past year, we all celebrated the completion of the new Chamberlain Elementary School. And coming up this summer, we're going to break ground on the $70 million renovation of Holmes. And Paul Salina's running point for that for us on the city side. Investing in the physical environments our students learn in will only enhance the improvements to the curriculum that Dr. Gasper is currently implementing too. He had a planned vacation, that's why he's not here tonight. But I did talk to him earlier today. He knows I'm saying all this. Dr. Gasper and I, we continue to meet on a regular basis. We're working together to make sure our teachers are supported, that our parents are given a voice, and that our students have access to the quality education they need to be successful in the classroom and beyond. And when our students reach graduation, when they're getting to that point walking across the stage at Willowbrook, our goal is to leave them a city that they want to continue to call home. Now, anyone who has driven through the city recently will know that the physical landscape is transforming right before our eyes in ways that we haven't seen in decades. And Jack Benjamin's here tonight, and our amazing team that he leads in our planning and development department are working tirelessly to make New Britain the prime destination to live, work, play, and invest. And his right-hand man, his grant writer, Scott Williams, is doing one heck of a job too. Thank you, Jack, for all that work. We are continuing to create a diverse
portfolio of housing options for our current residents, as well as those who may be looking to call New Britain home for the first time. Projects like the Brit and the High Railer are helping make our downtown a premier destination in central Connecticut. And when these projects are completed this year, they'll bring nearly 300 brand new units to the heart of our community, boosting our local economy, increasing revenue streams, adding jobs, adding to our tax base, and amassing opportunity. The block-by-block transformation continues with the renovation of the old Landers Ferry and Clark building, which will now be known as the Ellis Block. This is going to result in about 150 units specifically for those seeking affordable or senior housing options. And let's not forget the complete renovation and redevelopment of Mount Pleasant, a transformative project bringing 343 brand new affordable housing units, which will mark a new, bright beginning for hundreds of our residents. Homeownership remains a dream for many, and we want to make sure that that dream can become a reality right here in our city. So this year on the east side, we will see the completion of 11 brand new single-family homes where the old St. Thomas Aquinas High School once stood. These homes will improve the quality of the surrounding neighborhood, expand the tax base, and most importantly, allow first-time home buyers the chance to put down roots in our city. I can't tell you how many calls I get in a week asking when we're opening up that lottery, and I have to tell them, well, the foundation's not even in yet. But furthermore, our city has maintained its commitment to improving neighborhood quality by doubling down our efforts at combating blight. The ongoing work of our Blight Task Force, led by Sergio Lupo and his team in the Building and Health Department, is identifying problem properties. We're aggressively pursuing abusers and enforcing remediation. Will no longer stand for eyesores and unsafe properties that negatively impact the quality of life for our neighbors. To support our new and ever-growing housing stock, we're making significant infrastructure improvements to ensure we're capable of supporting the current and future growth of the city. Under the direction of Mark Moriarty and Ray Esponda, the Water Department is implementing the multi-phase NB Flush Say It Loud, Say It Proud program, a $90 million investment that will fix some of the oldest stormwater and sewer lines in the city, making it safer and healthier for all of us. We continue to invest in Complete Streets projects too. These are safety and aesthetic improvements in key areas of our city, with major projects slated this year for the corridors of John Downey Drive and next year for Arch Street on the horizon. Additionally, we're completing the work on our new $20 million Public Works Yard project that'll be opening up this spring, and also our fiber partnership with Go NetSpeed, a major investment that helps bridge the digital divide by providing high-speed, affordable internet to most of our residents. I have to give a big thank you to John Delgadillo, our Support Services Director, for overseeing those massive undertakings. The New Britain Park System continues to be the envy of the region. Under the direction of our Parks and Recreation Director, Eric Barbieri, we continue to invest in our parks so that residents throughout the city have access to premier recreational spaces. This year, we're celebrating the completion of the $10.5 million overhaul of Osgood Park, which will turn the entire area into an outdoor recreation destination for the north end of town. We also recently completed the Stanley Quarter Park Pond dredging project, as well as Phase 2 of the Stanley Loop Trail, which connects the walking trail at Stanley Quarter with the walking trail at AW. As a result of a very generous partnership with the local Rotary Club, I can confirm that the first set of paddle boats have officially been ordered and will be making their return to the pond at Stanley Quarter this summer. So that's exciting.
Thank you.
In Mr. Barbieri's department, also, the New Britain Recovers Initiative. It's overseen by Mallory Dupre and our dedicated community services staff. They continue to offer a hand up to our most vulnerable residents struggling to find a path back to a happy, healthy lifestyle. This initiative, New Britain Recovers, connects the city's opioid task force, our Building Hope Together task force on homelessness, and our local prevention council under one program, allowing us to provide an efficient and effective holistic service approach that helps those who struggle with the often interconnected issues of addiction, mental health, and homelessness. And while we realize there are people out there that are still struggling, and that there is always more work to do, we should be proud of the progress that we've made in this area. I think the governor said it best just a few short weeks ago when he was here. We are the model that other communities look to in the state of Connecticut, and this program is saving lives each and every day. Last year alone, Mary Floyd, our homeless prevention and housing coordinator,
and our dedicated partners involved with the New Britain Recovers initiative provided information to over 700 residents on matters including homelessness, homeless prevention, security deposits, landlord and tenant rights and responsibilities, and more. They were able to prevent homelessness for 97 households, 20 of them that were victims of fires. They distributed over 400 bus passes to allow people experiencing or at risk of homelessness to get to work, training, or educational opportunities. Under the leadership of Chief Baxter, New Britain EMS has had all their paramedics trained in recovery coaching and has also designated additional staff to provide life-saving education to our community. Those from the Navigator program, another critical piece of the New Britain Recovers initiative, have distributed 564 Narcan kits in the last year, equipping our residents with the ability to save the life of someone who's overdosing. Our EMS first responders made over 1,000 referrals to our community partners, and 49 of those people chose to be enrolled in a recovery program beyond what is initially offered through the New Britain Recovers initiative. The New Britain Youth Prevention Council, a very important piece of New Britain Recovers, has doubled in its size. The teenagers who make up this group are trained to educate their peers on prevention and have taught over 400 of their friends this year around the city on various topics like Narcan administration, harms of vaping, positive peer choices, and more. Prevention is most effective when our kids are exposed to it as early as possible. So NB Recovers partnered with Chief Marino, Deputy Chief Rembish, and the New Britain Police Department to have some of our officers trained in a school-based prevention program we call the Be Responsible program. New Britain police officers have been teaching this program in all 5th grade classrooms district-wide, resulting in 800 5th grade students getting exposed to information on how to live a healthy, substance-free life. And finally, tonight, I have to give a special shout out to Chief Raul Ortiz. Tonight I have to shout out Chief Ortiz for his persistent work in setting a new course and changing the culture at the New Britain Fire Department. I'm so proud of all Chief Ortiz has accomplished during his time with the City of New Britain. This past year alone, he oversaw his firefighters as they responded to over 7,000 calls, and some of them very tough situations. He presided over the graduation of the very first class from our own New Britain Fire Academy. He celebrated the new ladder truck coming into service for Station 2. His department secured over $1 million in grants. He established the New Britain Fire Department Fire Explorers program, and he continued to ensure his department's commitment to being involved with our community, having a presence at all community events. Chief, I just want to thank you for your hard work and dedication, because your progress is noticeable and it's appreciated. Thank you. So as we look to the year ahead, my administration will remain resolutely committed to our neighborhood-focused goals, aimed at maintaining and enhancing the high quality of life that our residents in every corner of the city deserve, while maintaining, of course, fiscal discipline. We remain passionately progressive in our approach, but yet cautiously conservative in our management. We'll continue to put the common good above politics, ensuring we remain committed to implementing policies and engaging in projects that are purely in the best interests of those who call New Britain home. We'll continue to set the standard for how government should work. As I articulated earlier, we've entered a new era, an era of promise and possibility, because New Britain's back. We've reemerged. Our collective work together has brought us to this point. We're certainly a community that's on the rise, and from where I'm standing, the opportunities seem endless. And while the accomplishments and positive changes we've been able to achieve together are certainly impressive, the work is never really done, and falls upon us to safeguard and perpetuate this era of prosperity indefinitely. Herein lies our charge. Thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you to our amazing staff here at City Hall. I'm forever grateful for your ongoing support and confidence in my leadership. You guys are great partners. Serving as your mayor to our citizens continues to be the honor of my lifetime. May God bless you all, and may he continue to bless our great city of New Britain. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you very much. Woo. Okay. So now we have a meeting. Thank you, guys. Alderman Santiago. Oh, I don't see any, no, minutes. Yes, I do.
Thank you, Your Honor. Make a motion to accept the minutes of the regular meeting of February 14, 2024, and February 28th of 2024.
Second by Alderman Russell. Any questions or comments on the minutes? Alderwoman Beloin Saavedra.
I'm going to need to abstain because I was not present on the 14th.
Oh, you can still vote on the minute.
Yes? Okay.
Yep, you're good. You're good. Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. I don't see any amendments to the agenda. I got ahead of myself. That's what I was saying.
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Clerk, petitions tonight.
Yes, we have several, Your Honor.
Okay.
First one is from Alderwoman Beloin Saavedra for the appropriate departments to enforce speed limits and parking restrictions around Washington Park.
To the police department, please.
Okay. From Alderman McNamara for the appropriate departments to conduct a traffic study from 304 to 228 Eddie Glover Boulevard in the vicinity of Tungus Road and Mohawk Drive intersections to determine the appropriate methods to reduce speed and reduce accidents.
Police commission.
From Alderman McNamara for the Department of Public Works to report by Wednesday, May 8th, 2024, on the status and/or completion of on-call engineering services by Cardinal Engineering Associates for 1, Phase 2 Allen Street Drainage Improvements Final Design and Bid Documents, 2, on-call engineering services by Weston and Sampson as amended from 4 Overlook Avenue Drainage Improvements Final Design and Bid Documents, and 3, engineering assignment by Comprehensive Environmental, Inc. for flow metering and evaluation survey on Allen Street.
Public Works.
From Alderman Santiago for the appropriate departments to reevaluate the policy that was created regarding the prohibition of using speed bumps to deter reckless driving due to the fact that the city has an ongoing issue with accidents, speeding, and distracted driving throughout our neighborhoods and roadways.
Send that to the Public Works Board and also to the Police Commission.
Number 5, from Alderwoman Scott for the appropriate departments to provide a 15-minute parking on Dixon Street on the side of Express Ranch House Pizzeria at 389 Allen Street.
A Police Commission.
From Alderwoman Scott for the appropriate departments to address broken sidewalks between 65 and 69 Columbia Street.
Public Works Department.
From Alderpersons Barbosa and Simpson for the appropriate departments to require testing be administered during the hiring process, which would require written, reading, and listening proficiency to provide proof a candidate is able to speak, read, and translate in another language, in addition to English, if they claim they are bilingual, multilingual during the hiring process.
Human Resources.
Okay. From Alderpersons McAdam and Simpson for the appropriate departments to restrict parking on City Avenue to one side of the street between Market Street and East Street.
Police Commission.
Okay, number 9, from Alderpersons McAdam and Simpson for the appropriate departments to have the street light bulb replaced at the pole on the corner of City Avenue and East Street.
Police, Mayor's Office.
Okay. And number 10, from Alderpersons Connors and Santiago for the appropriate departments to provide detailed information regarding 1, does the city provide or participate in any type of public education for tenants renting properties within the city? And 2, does the city provide any type of education regarding the Fair Rent Commission process?
Send that to the Human Rights Office.
And that's it, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Clerk. All right, our consent agenda, Alderman Santiago.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept the consent agenda of A, B, D, E, and F.
I have a second from Alderman Smedley.
Thank you.
A, B, D, E, F. Any questions or comments? Mr. Clerk?
Alderpersons McNamara.
Aye.
Smedley.
Yes.
Sanchez.
Yes.
Beloin Saavedra.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Russell. Barbosa. Hargraves. McAdam. Gibson. Scott. Connors. Pabon. Santiago.
Yes.
14-0, Your Honor.
Motion carries. Item C. Alderwoman Barbosa.
I make a motion to accept item C,
Second from Alderman Russell.
to accept the report and the response from the police commissioners regarding item 36282 for the request for installation of speed humps or other speed-reducing mechanisms on Fulton, Benson, and Roosevelt Streets. I urge acceptance.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolution number 1 this evening, Alderman Smedley.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt item number 1.
Second?
I have a second from Alderman Santiago.
Thank you, Your Honor. This was returned from committee, and it's regarding conveyance from the State of Connecticut Department of Transportation of 2 parcels of land on the southerly side of Connecticut Route 72 eastbound on-ramp in the area of Hamilton and Sherwood Drive, and I, of course, urge adoption.
Any questions or comments on this? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderwoman McAdam.
I make a motion to accept and adopt item number 2,
Second by Alderwoman Sanchez.
the designation of March as Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month, and members of the Common Council are all aware. I urge adoption, sorry.
Thank you. Any questions or comments on this item? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderwoman Barbosa, item 3.
Your Honor, I make a motion to accept and adopt item number 3. Second.
Seconded by Alderwoman Beloin Saavedra.
Designation of March as Women's History Month. All members of the Common Council have a speech. Today, we are respected more than ever. We pride on our own self-care. We are supported by our family and our men. We are our own motivators. Today's woman is no longer a dependent soul. She is independent and self-reliant in every respect and is capable of doing everything. Let's recognize the importance of our existence and motivate one another for the future achievements. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderwoman Sanchez.
I would like to say something in Spanish. Estamos celebrando el mes de nosotras. Quiero decirle a todas las féminas allá afuera que están trabajando fuertemente para hacer la diferencia. Mil gracias y mi respeto para ustedes. Thank you.
You're welcome. You want to say it in English too or no?
No.
Okay.
Teamwork.
Got it. Got it. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderwoman Saavedra. I'm sorry, Alderwoman Beloin for this one.
Thank you. I move acceptance and adoption of item number 4.
Second by Alderman Smedley.
Unlike my 2 fellow alder people, I'm going to read mine. This resolution is designating March as Irish American History Month. Whereas the Irish were pushed from their homeland during a period of famine and political upheaval, and whereas the Irish Americans struggled upon arrival in America as they were met with discrimination, such as Irish need not apply for jobs, and when they did get jobs, they were low-level paying jobs, such as cutting canals, digging trenches, and laying rail lines. And whereas through the passage of time and struggle, the Irish Americans became teachers, firefighters, police officers, and labor leaders. And whereas today people take great pride in their Irish ancestry and the legacy of perseverance, growth, and public service, and whereas St. Patrick's Day has become a celebration of all things Irish, such as parades, the wearing of green, the singing of Irish folk songs, donning a shamrock, harp, or collada, and enjoying some Irish food. Whereas this year, the city of New Britain will raise an Irish flag on Friday, March 15th at 10 a.m. at Central Park. Now therefore be it resolved that March 2024 is celebrated as Irish American Heritage Month in the city of New Britain. And I respectfully ask my colleagues to support this. But I will say also that we had the pleasure, and thank you for the aldermen that joined me, of marching in the St. Patrick's Day Parade in Hartford last Saturday, where our mayor was Irish Person of the Year, and where our band and our New Britain contingent won first place in the parade out of all the people who participated.
It
So
was a
moved.
really big honor. It was great. Any other questions, comments? All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Santiago, Alderman Connors, item 5.
Apologies, Alderman Russell, my mic won't stay on.
Hold on.
Oh, that's why it's too many. Sure.
You should be good now.
I hear you. All right. I'll use my actual voice. Good evening, Your Honor. I rise to make a motion and accept and refer item number 5 to the committee
Second.
Administration, Finance, and Law.
Thank you. I have a second by Alderwoman Sanchez.
Thank you. This amendment to section 2-42 of the Code of Ordinances would split the duties of the Consolidated Committee between the PZ&H and AFL Committee, resulting in more efficiency but longer acronyms. This should be referred and discussed as a potential measure to reduce waste of time for council members. There have been issues with lack of matters on the Consolidated Committee's agenda, and this would be an effort to use the council members' time more effectively and address the city's business. For these reasons, I urge referral to the AFL Committee for further discussion.
Thank you, Alderman Connors. Are there any questions or comments on the referral to AFL? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now, Alderman Santiago, item 6.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept item number 6 and refer to the Committee on Administration, Finance, and Law.
We have a second from Alderwoman Sanchez.
Is amendment to Chapter 2, Section 2-566 of the Code of Ordinance to require a report to the council once the contract has been signed by all parties, and I urge adoption, or referral.
Got it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alderman. Any questions or comments on this? Alderwoman Beloin Saavedra.
I'm going to have some similar questions and comments on all 6, 7, and 8, because I'm not understanding the things that they're asking to add to these in terms of getting something written sent back to the council. The council is approving this, so this is an expenditure that comes before the council, gets approved, and then once the purchasing agent signs the contract, it then comes back to us a second time. So we will have effectively seen it twice, the first time to vote on it, and the second time just to see someone's signature on what we already voted on. So if any of the 3 makers of this resolution could explain it in more detail so I understand why it's in front of us, I would appreciate that.
Alderman Santiago.
Thank you, Your Honor. As it is a referral for the discussions, we could do it then. I mean, again, we could repeat myself from now, and then we have it in a committee. It would be the same, wasting time. So I would refer to it when it's time for the committee.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any
No.
opposed?
No.
Party line.
For the record, party line.
Yep.
Motion carries. Alderman Santiago.
We'll be doing this again. Thank you, Your Honor. And make a motion to accept item number 7 and refer to the Committee on Planning, Zoning, and Housing.
Second by Alderwoman Sanchez.
This is amendment to Chapter 17, Section 17-2 of the Code of Ordinance to require a report to Common Council once the agreement for the leasing of any city property has been signed by all parties, and I urge referral.
Thanks, Alderman. Any questions or comments? Alderwoman Beloin Saavedra.
Okay, same thing I said on number 6. So if I read the change in this ordinance, again, it seems redundant. The department head involved shall report to the Common Council once an agreement for the lease of city property that was previously approved by the council has been signed. Again, it had already come before the council. We approved it. It goes somewhere and gets signed, and now we're going to have the exact same information come back again after we already improved it. I don't find it necessary.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
No.
Motion
Party line.
carries. Party line, no. Mr. Clerk. Alderman Santiago. Item number 8.
Thank you, Your Honor. Again, I make a motion to accept item number 8 and refer to the Committee on Administrative Finance and Law.
Second by Alderwoman Sanchez.
This is amendment to Chapter 22, Section 22-9 and 22-10 of the Code of Ordinance to require that a report of submitted to the Common Council once the agreement has been fully signed by all parties, and I urge referral.
Thank
Third
you.
time.
Alderwoman Beloin Saavedra.
Thank you. Again, I'm going to read it because maybe when I say it out loud, it'll make more sense. Once a tax modification agreement, which was approved by the Common Council, has been signed by all parties, a report shall be submitted back to the Common Council with a copy of what was signed. It would have already been here. We would have already had a presentation on it. We would have said yes or no, and then it would go on its procedural way. So I don't understand why we would need it to come back to the council again. So I will also be objecting to this one as well.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Party line. Motion carries.
Motion Motion to adjourn?
Made by Alderman Santiago, seconded by Alderman Pabon. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned. The time is 8:44 PM. Have a wonderful night, everyone.